What's up YouTube? Capital G here. As I've said many times on this channel before, Yu-Gi-Oh! Era 7 is almost upon us, and it looks like Konami has finally started giving us a little bit of information as to what's to come next in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now let me just preface this video so I can temper your expectations by saying Konami has still not given out any official information about the 7th animated Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, and we still don't know any information about gameplay changes to the TCG, so I don't have any information about new mechanics or anything like that. I think we'll get that information, well, the anime information should come by the end of this month, and then we'll probably get information about maybe Master Rule 5 by February-ish or something like that, but I just don't want you guys thinking that any of that is going to be in this video. However, they did give us an announcement of the first core booster set of the 7th era of Yu-Gi-Oh! And some changes that are going to be happening with that booster set. So as you guys can see here, the first core booster set of Yu-Gi-Oh! Era 7 is going to be called Rise of the Duelist. Very interesting that they went with another set that has the word duelist in the name. Clearly we have, like, I don't know, just off the top of my head, probably like 12 sets that have the word duelist in the name. A lot of the eras start with booster sets that have the word duelist in the name. We had Code of the Duelist for the Reigns era, Duelist Alliance, the Duelist Genesis, etc., etc. But Konami actually announced some official changes to the booster pack structure, and I'm gonna assume that this is just going to be right now for the core booster pack structure. Obviously, we get 4 core booster sets per year, and basically they're, you know, kind of based around the seasons. Right now, this is only for the OCG, but in just my opinion, I feel like Konami might take some of these changes and apply them to the TCG if they're really trying to kick off Yu-Gi-Oh! Era 7 with a bang, and it seems to be maybe what they're thinking about. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about some of those changes. So, well, actually, for starters, Rise of the Duelist is going to be released around mid-April 2020. So April 18th, 2020. This gives us, I would expect probably about a targeted schedule for the TCG of around mid-January to like early August. I think that's when we'll see this this booster set drop in the TCG. And it also says that the secret rares will be replaced by a new type of rarity called Prismatic Secret Rare. Now, when I saw that, I thought about obviously what we have in the TCG, which just started with Rising Rampage, and I was like, so does this mean that the OCG are going to start getting the Prismatic Secret Rares that we have in the TCG, or maybe it's going to be something completely new? I mean, when they say all new, I don't know if they mean new for the OCG or if they mean new in general, because you have to remember the term Prismatic Secret Rare, even though we use that to describe our rarity in the TCG, it's not actually an official term. If I'm not mistaken, Konami has not dubbed our new rarity in the TCG. It just like doesn't actually have a name, like no official name anyway. So there's going to be at least some type of new rarity, or I guess rarity switch up in the OCG. And this is also interesting. OCG booster packs are going to just be getting more ultra rares in general. It says that ultra rares will increase from 6 to 8. This is interesting too, because it gives Konami, at least in the OCG, kind of more opportunities to like, you know, give players some shiny cards for cards that deserve it. We know all the time we see a lot of the hollow spots be taken up by anime archetypes, and when they're really bad, it's kind of disappointing because they take away, you know, hollow spots from like cards that deserve it. If you look at a set like Savage Strike, I'm so dumbfounded how cards like, you know, Subterra Guru came out as common. It's like, man, that card probably should have been an ultra rare. Cards like Salamangreat, Sunlight Wolf, even though that is an anime card, like that clearly should have been an ultra rare. I can't really see us getting more like rarities or more holographics in the TCG, because if I'm not mistaken, we already have like 10 supers and 10 ultra rares, plus we get a holo in every pack. That started back during the Arc V era, probably Shining Victories, but I might be wrong about that. Maybe that's when we lost Ghost Rares. But I feel like this is something that's definitely interesting, and I think of these two changes, what is more likely to happen in the TCG is maybe us getting a new rarity. Now, some people might be like, oh, come on, Cap G, clearly we just got a new rarity in Rising Rampage, but just think about it. What if Konami did something crazy? What if Konami really wanted to kick off Yu-Gi-Oh! Era 7 with a boom? What have we all been asking for pretty much for like the last 3.5 years, ever since Konami took them away halfway through the Arc V era. I think everybody wants Ghost Rares back. The new rarity in the TCG, Prismatic or whatever you want to call it, to me it's kind of underwhelming. I'm not in love with it. I don't really think that it's all that great, and I think that Ghost Rare would be a great opportunity for Konami to get players incredibly hyped about the game. If you guys don't know, they still have Ghost Rare in the OCG, and basically the cover card of whatever the booster pack is in the OCG is always the Ghost Rare. In the TCG, sometimes they switch it up, but the Ghost Rares, they look absolutely beautiful. Like Link Ghost Monsters look amazing. If you guys have never seen cards like Borreload Savage Dragon or Borreload Dragon, you know, Firewall Dragon and Ghost Rare, these cards look magnificent, and I feel like there's a small opportunity that maybe with this set, we might actually get Ghost Rares back in the game. Now, in other news, Konami actually showed off a little bit of what we're going to be seeing from our next deck building set, which is going to be Secret Slayers. Deck building sets, if, I don't know, maybe you're living under a rock, are the small sets. They give us 3 archetypes. They're not always new archetypes because Six Samurai was in one of these deck building sets. Thing like Mystic Fighters and, you know, what was the one that gave us Sky Strikers? Dark Saviors, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, we've got pictures. I would assume that these are probably the boss monsters, because generally when Konami reveals the archetypes by the form of like pictures, usually they're showing off like the boss monsters. But at least we know, and I'm going to assume that this is based on translation that YG Organization took from the OCG website, we at least know like the type that these are supposed to support. We've got this dragon right here that looks like some type of crystal or maybe like a diamond dragon of some sort. It looks like this is going to be a rock-based archetype. I think that's a pretty good pick. A rock support went really, or they gave us a lot of rock support in 2019, and I think like every Burning Abyss player knows how good Blot Dragon is as a card. So if we're gonna get a new rock archetype, shout outs to you know, Blot Dragon. That card's already nuts. And Burning Abyss, maybe it'll be good in that. We have the default most popular deck out of this set because it has a girl as the boss monster. This is going to be an archetype that revolves around plants. We got a cute waifu, so by default it's automatically the most popular deck. And then finally we're getting more zombie supports as well. I don't know what to make of this. I mean, this card does not look like a zombie at all. I think this guy looks a little more like a warrior or a spellcaster. Hell, you could probably sell me on it being a psychic or a machine or something like that, but a zombie, I don't know if I'm buying that. Anyways, these are obviously just first impressions, and the artwork on these cards looks pretty damn magnificent. But then again, the artwork has never been the problem of the archetypes coming out of the deck building sets. Like, they've always been really good. It's just the last couple of ones, they really haven't given us anything competitively viable. You know, dragon maids and or witchcrafters, like, they're fun archetypes, but definitely nothing to like you know, contend with the actual competitive meta, which is strange because we had like Sky Striker and Prank Kids that won YCSs, etc, etc. Here's hoping that these will be able to contend with the meta. Anyways, whatever you guys thought about the changes that Konami is doing, let me know in the comment section below. I do believe that we are going to get information about the 7th animated series by the end of the month, and I'm definitely going to cover that. But I do think it's interesting that Konami is switching up the structure of the core booster sets. I really don't think that they're just going to do this for the OCG. I don't think we'll like gain any more hollows or anything like that, but I feel like maybe there's a chance that we will get Ghost Rare back. Anyways, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos. Also, new mechanics and or Master Rule 5. I forget if I mentioned this earlier in the video. I expect us to get information on the actual like nitty gritty about Yu-Gi-Oh! Era 7 if we are getting new mechanics, essentially like gameplay changes to the game. I expect that to come out about February. Generally speaking, it should be in the March V-Jump, which is going to be released in February of next year, and it'll be a huge story. Generally generally when we get like a new Master Rule or there's a new era of Yu-Gi-Oh starting, the entire, I don't want to say like the entire V-Jump about it, but it's a major like section of the V-Jump. It generally has like Yu-Gi-Oh on the cover, whoever like the main character of the anime series, etc., etc. It's a very big deal in that V-Jump. I personally believe, and I'll just talk about this for a second or two, I believe that it's going to be, if we're going to get a new mechanic, I believe it's going to be one of two things. I think that we're either going to get skill cards, which to me seems the easiest to incorporate. Many YouTubers like APS have said this before. Skill cards would be easy to incorporate because they're already in Duel Links and they're already in Speed Duels. And it's really not that complicated to kind of learn. You don't need a new zone or anything like that. And the other one would be like Deck Masters from, you know, the original Yu-Gi-Oh! DM series, where you get kind of like one monster or something that does like something special. Maybe Triff would use Electromidas as Deck Master if that's a thing. Oh my goodness. I think Deck Masters would be pretty cool because it wouldn't be, again, like a huge overhaul like Master Rule 4, but we'll see what happens when that information comes out. Again, we're getting very close, guys, to Yu-Gi-Oh! Era 7, and I want to know what you guys think. So leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.